All right, folks, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. In just a little while, we'll be joined live in studio by Fox News contributor, former senior aide to Senator Chuck Schumer. Christopher Hahn will be here, and we'll discuss the issues of the day, the Obama falling poll numbers, the Democrats' falling poll numbers, as well as this debate over death panels and what Mark Halpern said on their show yesterday and what he says he didn't say on their show yesterday. We'll talk about all of that. Joining us momentarily will be James Carafano, Vice President, Foreign and Defense Policy Studies at the one and only Heritage Foundation. While we wait for James, though, and then John Bolton joins us in the final segment of the show. So we have another full hour on tap here. As I said earlier, we inch towards the turkeys and Thanksgiving. Did you hear what Larry King had to say? Larry King, who once asked Yasser Arafat, the biggest killer of Jews since Adolf Hitler, "What about the hat? Tell us about the hat." Which is like asking Adolf Hitler, "Hey, Adolf, what's with the mustache? Tell us about the mustache." Listen to what he said about talk radio and Rush Limbaugh, cut 14.
Why was it so? Why'd you get so much attention?
Because it was the first national network talk show.
Okay.
It was the beginning of talk radio.
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of credit as the beginning of talk radio in America.
Do you like what it evolved into?
No, because it became a soapbox, screaming, yelling idiots, and a lot of what I hear is pop nonsense.
Yeah.
Political crazies.
No real discussion.
Political crazies.
Mm-hmm.
And NPR is good radio.
Mm-hmm.
But the Limbaughs and these guys are just playing with a loose deck.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's an act.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they're hucksters.
All right, a lot of the Limbaughs and a lot of yelling and screaming, and they're playing with a loose deck. A lot of it's an act. And nothing about you is an act, Larry? I mean, give me a break. By the way, Larry King and I, many years apart, went to the same high school once upon a time. And so did Sandy Koufax, so did Vic Damone, so the list goes on and on. Anyway, Larry King is in the entertainment business, or has been. He's on a podcast. That interview was done with some comedian named Mark Marone, and he, on a podcast called a WTF podcast. Now, I don't know, is WTF what I think it is? And he's blasting talk radio when he's sitting there doing a podcast for WTF. Now, I don't know what WTF means. Maybe it means Walter, Tom, and Frank. But in today's Twitter language, it means something else. But I'm not here to knock the platform that Larry King was on. I'm just here to it's just so ridiculous, Larry. Give it up. I mean, such sour grapes. Yeah, Larry King did late night, overnight, middle of the night, talk radio. He was a pioneer. He was entertaining, and he was entertaining in the way he chose to be entertaining. And Rush is entertaining in the way he chooses to be entertaining, and other talk show hosts are entertaining in the way they choose to be entertaining. Me, I like to entertain by pulling a Marco Rubio. Well, you can't please everybody, Larry. What can I tell you? And I'll never be president now because I just drank that. You know that, right? My political career is over. I hope that doesn't offend Larry King. I hope he doesn't think that that's beneath him, and hope he doesn't regret starting talk radio, of course, since it led to some guy who happened to go to his high school decades after he graduated, taking a drink on camera. All right, anyway, enough of Larry King, and we move on to James Carafano, Vice President of Foreign and Defense Policy Studies at the Heritage Foundation. And, sir, welcome.
Hey, it's good to be with you.
Good to talk to you. All right, so this deal, we've talked to many people, and I can't find anybody. I mean, has there been a elected member of Congress that on either side that has said, oh, no, this is a good deal? Or is it basically, aside from the Ayatollah and the president of Iran, it's Obama and Kerry and the administration?
Well, it's funny. I've actually been surprised. I mean, you wouldn't be surprised that, Heritage Foundation says, oh, president's doing the wrong thing, but there's uniform skepticism across a wide range of groups. I mean, other than the obvious ones, like the arms control guys love it, and the European leaders that signed off on it love it. But But you look in Europe, you look in the Middle East, across the United States, widespread. I mean, it's really shocking to me. And this is before people really have dug into this thing, because there's a lot more to the story that people haven't even figured out yet. So just on a cursory analysis, people are shaking their heads. Wait till they really kind of unpack this thing. They're really going to start to get worried.
Well, and James, something that hasn't been talked about a lot, if we're to believe the Associated Press, who now are being accused of hiding this for a year and now revealing it, we were lied to again. The scenario given to us was Obama at the General Assembly tried to shake the president of Iran's hand. He was rebuffed by the president of Iran, so he decided to pick up the phone, call him in his limo, and we're going to hold talks. And Kerry was so optimistic, I think we could settle this in a few weeks. And like, what? And lo and behold, we have an agreement, when in fact this has been going on for a year. So the scenario presented to us by this administration about how this all unfolded is another, if you like your doctor, you could keep it.
Well, look, I get all that, all the theatrics and everything, but this was so predictable. I mean, I was writing about this months ago. Other people have been writing about this for months. If you didn't see this one coming, a year ago, then you were just an idiot. I mean, anybody that was watching this and watching the Iranian administration and this administration predicted, you didn't have to be Nostradamus to see this one coming. I mean,
and why is that? I mean, the Iranians interested because they knew they were going to get a sweet deal, and Obama because he just wants to avoid confrontation at all costs, or he doesn't mind selling Israel right down the river?
Well, I think the answer is kind of both of that. Look, you knew the Iranian election was rigged to elect somebody that could prevent a less confrontational face to the West, and the goal was. The sanctions were absolutely crippling and threatening the regime, and we had to find a way to get out of that. And the only way to get out of that was a negotiated thing. And the Iranians had a trump card. Everything was going horrible for Obama in the Middle East. Hey, here's a chance to look like you're earning your Nobel Prize. Hey, we will help you get out of Afghanistan. You want to get out of Afghanistan? We have influence in Afghanistan. We'll help you get out of Afghanistan. Syria's a big mess for you. We'll help you there. So this is a deal that, seriously, the people that follow this closely, who I've been talking to for months, said this is coming. I mean, this is, it's like winter. It's going to get cold. I mean, this was coming.
All right. So how has Iran helped us? Have they helped us with getting out of Afghanistan and Syria?
Well, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, the president wants to run away from Afghanistan. So you know how it's helping. Like the drug addict who says, I want to get high. And the guy goes, here, let me hook you up with my dealer. That's how it's helping.
Yeah, right. So it's not helping, obviously.
No, it's not. Of course not.
Yeah.
You want to do something that's against your national interests and in the long run is actually going to be hurtful to your country? I'll help you do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, right. And we should, as Americans, first and foremost, and my concern is that he's weakened the security of this nation. But, of course, the more immediate threat, perhaps because of the proximity, is not only Israel, but you got Saudi Arabia, who I keep saying to everybody, the great uniter who has divided us all, has managed to unite Saudi Arabia and Israel and others against Iran.
So we should start to talk about the things that people aren't talking about yet, which is, well, the bad news is the president negotiated a terrible deal, which has nothing to do with slowing down the Iranian nuclear program. But that's on top of that is $1 trillion in defense cuts. So if, God forbid, something does happen in the Middle East and there's a crisis and we need to go defend our interests, a lot less likelihood that we're going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
You didn't like Libya? I get that. That's fine. But in a couple of years, we may not be able to do a Libya, let alone
I hear you.
Something in Iran or the Straits of Hormuz.
Hey, listen, James, I appreciate you coming on. And the next time we'll have a little longer. I thank you for your time, sir.
Hey, good to be with you.
Take care. James Carafano, Vice President, Foreign and Defense Policy Studies at the Heritage Foundation. When we come back, Christopher Hahn, Fox News contributor and political consultant, will be here. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.